Okay. We're not at the Twitch stuff quite yet for what we're probably going to talk about more. This is the update. Twitch Korea so Twitch is going to be shutting down the business in Korea on February 27th, 2024. The explanation that we got actually, I think, is right here. Ultimately, the cost to operate Twitch in Korea is prohibitively expensive, and we have spent significant effort working to reduce these costs so that we could find a way for the business to remain in Korea. They experimented with some stuff. Twitch has been operating in Korea at a significant loss, and unfortunately, there's no path forward. So they will no longer be operating in Korea, which that's a really big deal.
What I heard is that you'll still be able to watch Twitch in Korea. You just can't stream.
Yeah, you can't stream. That makes sense.
In Korea. Yeah. So it's not like you won't be able to access the site and watch streams in Korea, but you won't be able to stream from Korea.
Right. Which, yeah, follows with what they were saying. The
and usually I'm not with companies on this, but I've heard their explanation here is actually like completely accurate and true, that like network costs are just insanely high in Korea, and this kind of actually makes sense if they're operating at a huge loss and they've tried to work it out and it's not working.
It's not working. Well, you can't.
So be it.
Yeah, and Twitch isn't. I think we've mentioned this before. My speculation is Twitch is not an insanely profitable company.
No,
Twitch does not strike me as like the monopoly money company. Actually,
no, they're not. Amazon is, but Twitch is not.
Twitch strikes me as treading water, if not occasionally drowning from time to time. I don't think they're in a position where they're like monopoly money. Who cares? And Amazon doesn't seem like they're like, yeah, we'll just eat the cost.
It's hard to say. I would say they make a profit, but probably not that much.
If they were making a super profit, I don't think they would have cared as much.
They probably wouldn't have.
You know, when you're treading water, you're like, okay, we're already treading water. We can't just keep doing that. This is just to finish out the point on this. This is a big deal. Obviously, there are plenty of Korean-based streamers. I'm thinking too of like League of Legends. A lot of Korean League of Legends.
A lot of esports athletes in Korea. A lot of streamers from that side of things.
It'll be interesting to feel the impact there. What about Twitch Korea esports? Like a lot of times, the companies. Who's the company that does League of Legends? Oh God, OG. Maybe something like that. They'll stream all the games on Twitch. I don't know if there's like some special deal that's happening behind closed doors, but I know that there's also like a streaming service for Korea specifically as well.
Yeah, it's probably that, or they just stream to YouTube or a different. I mean, I'm sure they already stream to YouTube, but Twitch is probably the most popular.
Oh yeah,
maybe it's not in Korea.
Maybe
it's
not in Korea.
I'm sure it is, but
in the US, I'm sure it is, but in Korea, it may not be. But in any case, I obviously this is a really big deal. So I mean, I do feel for some of the streamers that are specifically like you're focused on Twitch, and Twitch is just now gone. Like your revenue source is just gone. For your bigger one, let's say the bigger one, your bigger revenue source is gone. You got to pivot. Yeah. Obviously, there's YouTube, but like it's not going to be the same.
Yeah, they're gonna have to pivot to a different service, obviously, but we'll see. Hopefully, the streamers that are impacted by this are able to figure it out. For the most part, again, I'm sure there's other alternatives, and
I'm sure
maybe, hopefully their audience goes with them.
Yeah,
I can only say I wish them nothing but the best, but I can't. It's hard for me to fault Twitch at this one because, again, apparently the operating costs as far as like network costs and stuff like that in Korea are like, I think they say this in the article, they're like 10x other countries. It's just like obscenely expensive. Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, it's tough. Again, they're treading water, I think. So it's like, okay, we can't. Yeah. It's in this case, they're like, we're drowning.
Yeah.
They're like, we're drowning. We can't do it. So I mean, I didn't know that, to be clear, like how much the operating costs were. They didn't.
Yeah, I didn't know that until
but they did say out. Here network fees are 10 times more expensive than in most other countries. So I mean, obviously, like, okay, if you're taking their word for it, which in this case we will, seems like they're telling the truth. Yeah, could understandable.
Yep.
Okay, you gave Twitch some credit here. Are you ready to go in on them on the complete polar opposite?
I'm ready.
Okay, I have this section here because we're going to talk about this Q&A once we actually discuss what happened here. Updating our approach to sexual content and content classification labels, December 13th. I'm mentioning the date, which
that was Wednesday.
That was Wednesday.
3 days ago.
That was Wednesday. We have received consistent feedback from streamers that our current policies around sexual content are confusing and that it can be difficult to know how their content will be interpreted based on these policies. We want streamers to feel confident they understand our rules and viewers to feel confident they will get an experience they expect. To accomplish this, we are making 2 changes. Streamlining our policies regarding sexual content and updating the criteria used for homepage recommendations. I'm going to skip all this because we're going to go straight to Q&A. What is changing? That's why you go straight to Q&A. Some types of content that are prohibited will now be allowed on Twitch if appropriately labeled. These changes include content that deliberately highlighted breasts, buttocks, or pelvic region, even when fully clothed. I'm sorry, I'm laughing already because I'm like, I knew like as soon as I saw this, I knew exactly what was going to happen. Streamers found it difficult to determine what was prohibited and what was allowed, and often evaluating whether or not a stream violated the portion of the policy was subjective. In addition, the former sexual suggestive content policy was out of line with industry standards and resulted in female presenting streamers being disproportionately penalized. Let's continue before we comment. Fictionalized, drawn, animated, or sculpted, fully exposed female presenting breasts and or genitals or buttocks, regardless of gender. There is a thriving artist community on Twitch, and this policy was overly punitive and did not reflect the impact of the content. Okay, let's keep going. Body writing on female presenting breasts and or buttocks, regardless of gender. The Twitch attire policy already allows body art on breasts and buttocks, so this change makes these policies consistent. Erotic dances that involve disrobing or disrobing gestures, such as strip teases. Okay, let's pause there. Well, we can go to popular dances, but popular dances such as twerking, grinding, and pole dancing are now allowed without a label. Let's just keep it there. Gosh. Well, I can think of a couple things that I thought were fine. I think that the parts that I thought were fine were the fictionalized parts and the artistic parts.
Drawing and animated, whatever.
I thought this was all fine. I thought it made sense. I think it's appropriate. I think it should be allowed. I think it's, plenty of... I'm just going to say it. There's plenty of artists that want to draw nude art, and it's not just like ooh-woo, anime boobs kind of thing. It's just like, that's part of art.
Yeah. Like, I saw an argument, like, most people walking down the street, especially in like Europe or something, or like a lot of places, yep. There's like statues of naked people in like museums and like wherever. It's like, you've seen a statue of a naked person probably. Like, come on.
It's art. That to me was all fine. When it was all about artistic representation, I was following along. But I read this first part and I read this second part, and I said, yeah, that's softcore. Yeah, that's softcore. Strip teases in particular, really? Even with a label, really? Just like actually saying such as strip teases. Really? This one shocked me, the bottom one. I was shocked. Even with a label, they're like, okay, you got a label. Because... okay, even with a label. Like, you're just gonna tell a streamer, oh yeah, you want to do a striptease? Sure. Really? Huh. That was so shocking to me that this one was in here. And my last point, before I'll turn it over to you, the number of streams of just people twerking, of like compilation videos of twerking that went in the art category, because of this change was insane. It was like every 4 streams was just a compilation of people twerking.
Yeah.
This is what happens. And I'm going to say that this is what happens when you don't properly prepare your community for the changes. We all know how streamers are. Streamers are semi-creative, in my opinion. Like, one person comes with a great idea, everybody does the same. They're all lemurs. All the big ones are lemurs. So there's like some creativity and innovation, but everybody else is a lemur after. The first person that gets away with something within these guidelines, everybody else is going to do the same thing. It's a possible slippery slope. And that's how I'll pause my thoughts on this and let you go, because this was a super shocking change.
Yeah, I was surprised by this too, because I'm not really sure what to say about this. Like, if people want to do these kinds of things, and like, you know, you're female, like, you know, I don't know what to call them, female or male, to be honest. I don't want to gender discriminate here. Like, you know, body streamer, the hot tub streams that were a thing, or like recently the trend was like women, like I saw it from women, so you know, women like being naked, but the camera was like just above, above their breasts, so you could you couldn't see the nipples, but you could see most of like the top half of their breasts.
Yeah.
Saw that a lot right before these went into effect. So I don't know, like there is an audience for that. Obviously, there's a lot of those, you know, sex sells. There's a lot of horny people
Right.
in the world and on the internet especially. But I think what happened with this, and we haven't talked about the next part yet, but advertisers don't like this.
No, they don't.
They really don't, because they want the website to be like kid friendly, and they want to be able to advertise to everybody. And some people don't like this. This isn't kid friendly. Look, if Twitch wants this to be on the website, fine. But like, they need to compartmentalize it to like a different website altogether. Exactly. Or a different section of a website that's like Twitch 18 plus or something along those lines, right? If you want to have this, have it, that's fine. But like for advertisers and stuff like that, you got to compartmentalize it to a separate portion of the website. Correct. And you can't have it be on the front page of frickin' Twitch.
Correct.
Because that's what's gonna piss advertisers off. Is it's on the front page of Twitch. Every recommendation is a streamer like drawing even like the animated stuff, like drawing nude stuff or pornography or like boobies or genitals or like whatever it is, and advertisers sure ain't gonna like that.
No.
For me, I don't care. I don't look at the homepage very often. I just go straight to like my following tab, and like that's what I look at, or I browse categories and stuff like that. I hardly ever look at the homepage, so I don't really care, and I don't care about this kind of content, so I ignore it.
Right.
But from a business and an advertiser's perspective, I think this was a very poor choice by Twitch.
Yep. Oh, I'm sure there were multiple advertisers who were like, what's going on? What is going on? It also makes me feel like they didn't discuss it with the advertisers.
Yeah,
or like,
sure
hey, we're going to make this big change. You should review it. Because I feel like if they told them, the advertisers would probably be thinking,
yeah, we're not okay with this.
Should we just cancel our campaign? I will say most of the time I don't care, because I know most streamers, like I said before, they're just going to follow the trend. Especially with like one where topless cameras right above here. One person did it, a bunch of people did it, because they know that people are going to watch that because boys are horny. I think that I've advocated for Twitch just having a separate 18 plus site where it's softcore. I've advocated for that.
Yeah.
I think that it's just I think there's a space for that where you do 18 plus, you validate somebody's 18 plus, they're allowed to go over there. And I mean more than what porn sites do, which is just like, are you 18 or over? Yes. Okay, cool. You must be 18 or over.
Yeah.
Like there's some other mechanism to prove somebody's 18 or over. I don't do some validation. But having like a mixture of that when it's not appropriately like separated, like having that mixed together, like in art, I go to art and I see art stream twerking, right? Like, it's weird to me that I'm like going into the art category and I'm seeing art twerking, naked VTuber model, which by the way happened. Just a completely naked VTuber model, which is against the terms here, by the way.
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, this is a 13 plus site. I've got art, which is fine. I've got people twerking, which seems a little bit weird for 13 plus. And now I've just got a naked VTuber. And then the next person is, I mean, they're not naked, but they're topless. Cameras here. Like, it feels weird when you see it on the outside. And I'm not saying like there's like multiple factors that in play there, but I do think that this change was a little bit aggressive. I think Twitch probably needed to maybe start with the art part, stipulate the art with the labels, start there, and then maybe like slowly grow into some of this other stuff. Like, this is already a lot. Like, this is so much to just dump on a community and be like, go. And everybody's like, whoa, let's go.
And then that's the other thing. It just went off the next day where it got, I didn't see what he actually saw, but I saw like I don't know if it was like was supposed to be a meme, but I saw this. It was a short clip of XQC on Twitter. It was like 15 seconds or something of him going into the art category, clicking on a stream, and it got blurred out what he actually looked at.
Yeah.
But like his face after that was like, oh, what the hell is going on here?
I didn't see that, but I can tell you there were multiple streams where I was raising an eyebrow. Like, Twitch, did you think this through?
Yeah. And, like, they opened the floodgates here, and people were already, like, before they made these changes, were already, like, kind of pushing, I think, trying to push the limits of their sexual content policy. And I get what they were trying to do with this, because they saw people trying to push the limits of the sexual content policy, so they wanted to, like, clarify it. But, like, not only did they clarify it, they just opened up way more stuff.
Yeah.
And then you don't think people are going to try to like push the boundaries of like the new policy. People are always going to like toe the line and like see how far they can go and get away with it, right?
I mean, that's how we got the pool hot tub streamers, is somebody towed the line, figured out it was allowed, and then everybody else did it, and then they had to create a separate category for pools and hot tubs, which to me makes sense, because then you can tell advertisers our ads don't go there. But like, they didn't separate it, so there's no separation of the like 18 plus. I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. But like this kind of content label, which is the and I don't know the exact what it's called, but it's like, maybe we'll just call it the sexual label for now. You know, so there's this sexual label for now, but that like the former sexually suggestive content policy, whatever it's called as the label, you know, do advertisements not hit those labels? I don't know. Maybe there's some separation of advertising there, but it all just got mixed together in a bowl. And I wasn't down with the candy bowl of Reese's peanut butter cups, Hershey's Kisses, and a small thing of vodka kind of mixed in there. It didn't feel separated particularly well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to give some kids trick-or-treating bowls. I'm going with them, and there's a small thing of vodka in there, and I'm like, what's this doing here?
This doesn't
really belong here. I mean, I can see and I can separate it out for the kid and tell him no, but it's weird to have it all mixed in the same bowl, maybe have two bowls. So, this all just really was not well put together from Twitch, I think, at all. I think whoever was in charge of this likely put it together. It seemed like they put it together in a day. I mean, it's just like, oh yeah, fuck it, let's just do it. And then they were like talking about, you know, nudity in gaming and all that. Let's just quickly fast forward for a second. I mean, we can definitely come back to this too, by the way. Um 2 days later. December 15th.
Friday. Yesterday.
Friday. Upon reflection, we've decided that we went too far. Twitch is rolling back the recent artistic nudity policy changes. So, Twitch reverts it, went too far. Twitch CEO says they went too far. Released a statement on Twitch's behalf less than 2 days after the terms. While he claims that some users were in violation of the new TOS when creating explicit artwork, he also pointed out some content that did follow these guidelines still raised concerns within the community. We're making some additional updates to our sectional content policy. We realized that our earlier update caused confusion and appreciate all the feedback we've received. Thanks for always coming together with us to help build the best version of Twitch. And then there's a link, apparently, that I can view all this. Okay, here's the blog. Thank you.
This is
the same one.
Did they update it like lower down? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm like trying to find it. They didn't update it in here.
I don't know.
But they did say this. They said that upon reflection we're going back. So it feels like it feels like somebody got carried away. I don't know how this happened, but it didn't get properly checked within the company.
Yeah, I don't know. This was one of those things where I just go to Twitch and I'm like, what did you think was gonna happen when you did this?
Yeah, I mean, he's just like, here's another statement. While I wish we would have predicted this outcome, part of our job is to make adjustments to serve the community. Yeah, I just want a hard stop there. I could have predicted that. That, and I'm not even close to Twitch's HQ. And I could have figured that out. That if you just open the floodgates and say like, yeah, all this stuff is is within the guidelines, label or, you know, in this case, no label for the twerking. Go for it. What do you think was going to happen? Like, where you're just like, yeah, everybody's just going to be super tame. It's all going to be good. It's going to be same old. It's like, no. You gave people very clear indications of what things could be allowed. And they're going to go for it until they figure out when the ruler doesn't break. They're going to be like, okay, we can get it all the way over here, but it doesn't break. Very, and I'm not even surprised, completely like poorly planned changes. I mean, not surprised either.
Typical Twitch.
Exactly.
Poorly planned changes and implementation.
Just
name a more iconic duo.
Just completely shocking how poorly planned this was. It was not well implemented, obviously. As a result, caused a lot of issues. Probably caused advertisers, we don't know 100% for sure, by the way, caused advertisers to raise an eyebrow and say, huh, is this really where we want to advertise? Thus causing Twitch's CEO to pull the plug on it for now.
Yeah.
Until they figure it out. But this was a overall, if I'm giving this a score, this is a 1 out of 10.
Ooh.
I give it a 1 because they at least rolled it back. This is one of the most poorly planned out, implemented things I've seen. You rolled out way too much at once. I actually think if you just rolled out the art part, I think you would have been okay.
Yeah,
I think you would have been all right. You would have cleaned it up, but you would have been all right. As soon as you said this and this and
twerking
this
and strip teases and
I was like, man, this is a lot. You sure you're gonna be able to check on all this? Of course not. So
yeah,
that's all I have to say on this. Just 1 out of 10 from Twitch here.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's obviously a place for this content on Twitch. It is popular, and
Yes, it is.
a lot of people watch it.
Yeah.
And it's not for me. It's not for me, and that's fine. But you know, they need to be clear about their guidelines about what is allowed and what isn't allowed. Obviously, people are always going to try to push the boundaries, and we'll see, whatever. But at this point, especially if they want to go more in like this direction where they went with this, they need like again a completely separate site or a separate section of the site that is
Need a
like
separate category.
18 like Twitch 18 plus or whatever they want to call it, right? Like
yeah, just yeah, I'm with you. I do think they need a separate. I feel like they need a separate URL, separate site. It's like 18 plus.
And yeah, don't throw this all over everybody's homepage because it's. I mean, I just hate it, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, really, like they said that certain content with the content with the labels and all that wouldn't be on the homepage, but
yeah, but like who's policing the labels? Like that's the problem.
Exactly. Like the streamer themselves puts the label on in this case.
Yeah, it's self-identification and policing, and like are there really enough people at Twitch or like moderators to like go around and say like, oh, I found one that's like not labeled. What do we like?
One.
I mean, give me a freaking break.
There's
dude.
not enough.
Like,
it's crazy.
There's so many categories and so many streamers on Twitch. Like, it's
yeah.
I don't know.
No, you're right. That's why I said this is a 1 out of 10. There was really no planning here. They planned, but it was horribly planned. So that's what I'm saying. It's no planning.
That's why I think like the best way is to just like compartmentalize it into a separate section of the site, because then you can be like, if it's not over there, then it's not allowed. Like if it's on the normal like gaming section of Twitch or the regular other like non-sexual content portion of Twitch, it's just no, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
Get this out of here. You're banned or you're suspended or whatever. You punish the person for not following the TOS, right?
Yep.
Like, but the self-identification and policing of this policy, it just doesn't feel like the way to do it.
Yeah, like, self-policing, I want to say it works, but
I mean, it should, but not every. The vast majority of people I think are honest and would do it, but then there's always the small people who ruin a small percentage who ruin it for everybody else, right? Because they want to try and cheat the system and try and get away with it. So
yeah. Oh, I didn't mention this, but I do think in conjunction with advertising all that, I bet someone at Amazon sent an email.
Yeah,
I do bet someone at Amazon was like, okay guys, what's going on?
Bezos is like, what the fuck's going on at Twitch right now?
They're like, let's jump on a Zoom or something, whatever they're using. Let's jump on a call. Let's talk about this. Are you sure you want to do this? Well, let's get the legal team involved. Figure this out. Because
like, you sure you want Twitch to be OnlyFans right now? Because that's where
we advertise on your site too, Twitch, because we own you and we advertise our products there. I'm just not so sure I want my Amazon ads there now.
Yeah, I don't think Amazon wants Thursday Night Football on Prime next to right next to twerking.
Just someone twerking
on the homepage.
Just someone fucking going crazy twerking or doing a striptease.
To be fair, this past Thursday night's game could have been considered pornography. So
Oh my god. It was like, yeah, I do think someone at Amazon also probably sent an email and got on a call and say, okay, guys, let's figure this out, because obviously you screwed up. So whoever planned this Twitch, try again.
Yep.
Try again.
Wing and a miss.
Huge miss. Wow. Try again. Maybe limit it a bit. There might have been some good nuggets in there, but I think you tried to go too try to do too much. You just try to do too much.
Too much too fast.
Exactly. And that can cause very, very serious problems, as you saw. So yeah, that's it for Twitch. What a clown fiesta of changes.
as per usual.
Yeah, quick turnaround too on the.
I feel like
change.
every time Twitch makes a change, we have a chat about what a clown fiesta it is. But
I mean, like, yeah, you go from like, oh man, guess the costs are really high on Twitch. You know, I guess we understand the decision to. Okay, so what are you doing, Twitch? Okay, so twerking. Let's talk about Twitch twerking. Yeah, I think that Twitch just. I feel like I feel like I'm making a general statement here. I don't have the data to support, obviously, but I feel like Twitch has started to just make these poor decisions, and you're just like shaking your head, like, okay, Twitch, for every what seems to be a good or understandable decision, you make this really clownish one, and I have to know, like, where are these coming from? Like, you came out with hype chat, first implementation terrible, second pass nobody wants to use it anymore. You try to do these guidelines, huge miss. You change your revenue share policy, huge miss. Even though you have Twitch Partner Plus, which is still kind of like a weird thing. Just there are these weird misses, and then there's like a hit every once in a while. There's like, oh,
once in a while.
like,
Usually
okay.
it's like three L's per W.
Yeah, it's like 3 L's and a W. It's they're
3 to 1's not a very good ratio of L's to dubs.
They're watching the.
You're not gonna have a very good record at the end of the season if you take 3 L's for every W you take.
They're watching some of these basketball teams, like the Pistons and Spurs and Wizards, and they're like, oh man, seems to be working out if we lose like 10 games in a row but get one win.
Yeah.
I think it's working. I mean, Twitch did have some. I think after TwitchCon there were definitely some positives, and then they're like, okay, we're hitting the high. Yeah. quick, get the plane down. Crash it in the mountain. There's more L's in the Panthers. Oof. Anyway,